Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I thought I would just do kind of like a little my favourite watch list during lockdown, things I've been watching, because I know a lot of people, like I see on Instagram, people are like, recommend me something to watch on Netflix or stuff like that. So I thought I'd just do a little list of the things I've been watching and the things that I've been enjoying during lockdown, because trust me, I have been watching a lot of Netflix. This isn't in any particular order, they're just the things that I've kind of put together that I've enjoyed. They're not like all kind of one genre. Yeah, it's a mix and match of like series and films and as well, and kind of like fiction versus reality as well, so it's all jumbled together. So one of the things I really enjoyed was a series that came out on Netflix, I'm not sure when, but really recently, called Never Have I Ever, and it's about like this Indian girl who lives in America, and it's just like her story of being in school. It's a lot better than that, I promise. I don't know how to like describe it. It's really interesting. There's lots of like good relationships, and you also learn quite a bit about their culture as well. Like I don't think I've seen like an Indian family being represented in that way before in any kind of TV, so it was really good to kind of like, it is like light-hearted and entertaining, but like you learn at the same time a little bit without realising it, but it is very interesting and I found that really good to watch. Another thing that I have enjoyed, kind of a little bit educational, is there is a documentary series on Netflix called Babies, and as a student midwife I was like, I'll be watching that, and it's really interesting. It follows like a few families from birth all the way to like, I think it's 1 year old, and they do loads of interesting like psychological tests on them, like experiments. It's really interesting to watch, and you learn about things that like, oh, it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Another thing that I have enjoyed is season 2 of Afterlife came out. Now Afterlife is written by Ricky Gervais, who is hilarious, but Afterlife is a bit of like, it's a mixture of comedy, like there are moments you'll be like absolutely laughing your head off, but it's also got some really sad moments, and I think I actually cried at every single episode of season 2, but I also laughed at every single episode as well. So it's kind of like, it's a really good feel good, but also makes you think a little as well. It's just really, it's so well written and produced. It's just a really good watch, and I recommend it to literally everyone. Another thing that I really enjoyed was a film on Netflix called Love, Wedding, Repeat. It stars, who's in it? Sam Claflin, who, if anyone knows me, they'll have known that I met him in 2015 on the set of a movie, so I was like really excited to watch another movie with him in it. It's really funny. It's kind of, it's like it's got like a Groundhog Day kind of plot to it, but it's so funny. It's got some amazing people in it, like there's quite a few comedians in it, which makes it hilarious, but it's all based around this wedding that just, and it keeps repeating with different scenarios, and it's just so funny. You just have to watch it. It's and the end is not what you expect either. All the way through you're like, oh, you think it's gonna be that, and then all of a sudden you get to the end and you're like, oh wow, alright, okay, that happened then. Another kind of reality series that came out on Netflix and everyone was raving about it was Too Hot to Handle. So it was a little bit like Love Island, and if anyone knows me, you'll know that I love watching Love Island and I'm a little bit obsessed with it. So it was a little bit like that, but it was slightly different. So there's like a mixture of people from across the world. It's not just British people or just Americans. There's Americans, Brits and Australians, I think that's it. And they like go into this villa and there's like boys and girls, but then they get told they can't have sex or kiss or any of the in between. And it's all for money at the end, and anytime that they do something wrong, like breaking the rules and like having a kiss between two people, then they lose some money. But it's quite entertaining to watch because it's not just kind of they do that all the time, and it's not just like watching them live in this villa. It's they do like some self-growth challenges, not like, so like Love Island do challenges where it's like they're all getting messy and like they have to be like, I don't know, the best person at an obstacle course or whatever. It's not like that. It's self-growth challenges, so it's quite interesting to watch, and like some of them are funny because they're like weird hippie people that come in to teach them how to do things, but it is so entertaining. I've loved watching that. Another docu-series that is on Netflix that was quite interesting to watch was The Trials of Gabriel Fernandez. So if anyone doesn't know who Gabriel Fernandez is, he was a little boy under the age of 10, I think he was 8, and he'd been in kind of the care system in America, and there was lots of domestic abuse from his like family towards him, that basically got missed by the American justice system, and he ended up dying. But this whole story is about, like the whole documentary is about how he kind of slipped through the system. Was his death preventable? It's really interesting to watch, especially like not being someone who lives in America and is under that kind of system. It's really interesting to see how that system works compared to the UK, and it is quite sad, and some of it is quite distressing because obviously it's based around domestic abuse on a kid, but it is really interesting to watch. One of my favourite things I have watched during lockdown is A Monster Calls. Now that is a movie, some of you might know Liam Neeson voiced the monster in it. There's quite a lot of like really good CGI and use in it as well, but it is based on a book by Patrick Ness, who is my favourite author in the whole wide world. So when I found out that it was on BBC One, but I hadn't read the book, and I was like, I really need to read the book before, because that was one of the books that I hadn't got hold of from Patrick Ness. So I literally, as soon as I found out it was on the BBC, it was like, right, it'll be on iPlayer for some time after. So I went online, ordered the book, the book came, I read the book in like within a few days, and I was like, right, now I can watch the film on iPlayer. And all I can say is it's one of those movies that is definitely different from the book, but it doesn't really lose that much. So it is quite interesting, like especially having read the book so soon to watching the movie. I was like, well, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. But it is also really well filmed, produced, acted. It's a really good, it will make you cry though, I'm telling you now. You need a box of tissues. I was bawling my eyes out. Another thing I have binge watched during lockdown is a series called Jane the Virgin. It is on Netflix. There's 5 seasons. Oh, but it is so good. It is, I can't even describe it. It is the best thing I've watched. I think it's genuinely my favourite series ever. It's about this girl who, literally this is no spoilers because it's in the first episode, but it's about this girl and she gets artificially inseminated accidentally at a doctor's appointment, and then it's all about like her family and like what happens, but there's loads of crime in it, there's loads of like romance, there's loads of funny stuff. It is literally everything that's so good about TV and dramas and comedy all mushed into one. It's just amazing. It's also based on what they call a telenovela, which it comes from like the Latina community. So it's really interesting. They also have really good topics in there about like single parenthood, pregnancy, immigration. They do touch on some really good topics, but in a really light-hearted way. It's just so good. I really, really, really recommend that people go watch that. It makes you laugh, and some bits do make you cry, but I cannot rave about it enough. It is definitely my favourite series. Another thing that I've watched it before, but Adam Sandler is one of my favourite actors. I love his movies. They're just so funny, and I watched it again recently, but his movie on Netflix with Jennifer Aniston called Murder Mystery, because that's just so brilliantly done. I think Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston are one of the best duos that act together. They've done a few movies together, and they're just so good, and their movies are so good. So I did watch Murder Mystery again, and I really recommend it to anyone who's looking for a feel-good movie to watch. I have also jumped on the bandwagon and watched Normal People, which is a series on BBC Three, but it's on iPlayer, basically. That's where you watch it. It is based on a book. I didn't read the book beforehand because I wasn't aware it was based on a book until after I'd watched the whole series. But it is so good. I really enjoyed watching it. However, I would recommend do not watch it with your parents. It's a little bit TMI. Yeah, watch it alone with some headphones on. That's my recommendation. But it is really good, and it's really interesting to watch. It's quite it's just kind of like normal life. You could imagine like your friends going through the same thing, but the way it's dramatised is really well done. Another thing I have watched as an avid Taylor Swift fan is the Miss Americana documentary that she did on Netflix. I recommend this to people who aren't a fan of Taylor Swift. It's not just about her music, it's about her life and how she went from like a teen country star to now like one of the biggest pop stars in the world. So it's really interesting. There's some really interesting topics in there about like politics and like mental health. It's just really well kind of produced. I really enjoyed it, and not just because I'm a massive fan of Taylor, like it's just really interesting to watch. And the last thing I'll mention is the National Theatre have been putting out things since the start of lockdown. They've made like a show available every week on a Thursday night. They put a new one on YouTube and it's there for a week. And because I've come home and I'm with my parents, we've been watching a few of those, any that kind of catch our eye. And there's a mixture of like, there's been some funny ones, there've been some quite serious ones, but they're all really well done. They've all been filmed kind of like in the theatre with a live audience, and when you're watching them it really does make you feel like you're there as well. But they've been really interesting to watch. There's been a few. So first one was One Man, Two Governors, and that's got James Corden in it. That was brilliant. We were kind of like laughing all the way through. What else? There was Frankenstein, which had Benedict Cumberbatch in it, and I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I've got a poster of him on my wall. And he was brilliant in that. What else? There's been a few. We haven't watched all of them, but whatever kind of spikes our interest, you have a look on the National Theatre, kind of their Facebook page and their YouTube, and see what's on. They put trailers on for the ones that are coming up as well. So they've been really cool to watch. If you have any recommendations of things that I haven't mentioned today and you think I should watch them, please drop it in the comments below or message me on my Instagram. I'd really like to watch some more things, and obviously like when you're scrolling through Netflix you kind of skip things, but if anyone's got anything else that they kind of think that I should watch, I'd love to hear about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel and give it a big thumbs up down below, and I will see you soon for another video. Bye.